What's going on, Sports Nation? I'm your host, Kenneth Tiberius Clark, and you guys are listening to another fun episode of the Sports Exclusive podcast. So summer's basically here, right? Here I am. I'm recording end of May. This is technically, from a sports fan standpoint, one of the slowest times of the year. Let's see, basketball and hockey are done. Football's in the off season, and baseball is like in the infancy stages. So some people hate this time of year, because they feel like they don't have anything to do. Me, I actually love it, because I think that the noise dies down. The fans aren't caught up in the hustle and bustle of other sports, and I get to shift the focus towards our year-round sports, right? Like our tennis, our track and field, our combat sports like boxing and jiu-jitsu. So we get to focus on things like that. So today, I'm going to focus on bodybuilding, which, is probably one of the more popular year-round sports. It's really caught my eye over the last few years. I guess living in San Diego, you have no choice but to see it. I think San Diego is probably one of the bodybuilding capitals. I don't know, maybe this guy will tell me different. But I've gotten in close proximity with these people, and I've gotten a chance to see them work and watch how they transform their bodies in a 3 to 6 month time period. So it's always good to get more insight, on that. I wanted to swing for the fences in this interview. So I went and got somebody that's a pro, right? An IFBB Pro, two-time Olympian, a fella that goes by the name of Feddy Moe. And he's going to come in, break down, and talk to us about some of the intricacies of bodybuilding. Who knows? Maybe he'll convert a few of you guys. Feddy, what's going on, man?
What's good with you, Kenneth, man?
Nothing much, man, in San Diego, about to get a workout, but like I said, let me go and talk to this man and see if I can get a few tips before I get this pump in.
Yeah. Okay.
So, okay. Let's talk a little bit about your background before we go into, obviously your career and things of that nature. So you're originally from Texas.
Yep. Texarkana, Texas, to be exact.
Okay. How close is that to Houston?
Man, it's probably like 6 hours. I mean, it's close, but not that close. It depends on how far you like to drive or how much you like to fly.
Would you say it's probably like closer to like Dallas or something like that?
Yeah, I'm close. I'm like 2 hours away from Dallas.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I did a couple years in Texas, so I know a thing or two about a thing or two. So, yeah. Okay. So multi-sport athlete. Obviously, if you come from Texas, you probably play football. Mm-hmm. Right. Let me guess. You was a DB?
Nah, I was actually on the line. I played nose guard.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Me too. I played some defensive tackle. So, okay. So play football, track and field?
Yeah.
Basketball.
I was in track and field. I actually ran a 1600. In basketball, I played power forward and center.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. Okay. So you're well versed. So, yeah. Okay. And this is what I always wonder. How does that transition into like bodybuilding? Like how did that prompt you? What prompted you to step into bodybuilding? Coming from all these different sports.
Well, I had my waves of why I was actually lifting weights. It's different type of inspirations and motivations that allowed me to like step into bodybuilding. As far as like sports, I was always wanting to just be better. And I think the natural understanding from getting better in sports is to become stronger. So that's just kind of what I was doing, was kind of winging it and lifting weights. I was a kid at the time, so and then back in the days, I'm 33 now, so it wasn't that much social media to get a lot of information from. So to me, you lift weights and you get stronger, right? But the real transition into bodybuilding didn't come about until I actually got to San Diego. Just like you were saying, like you ain't got no choice but to see it when you get out here.
No choice.
And so I essentially started looking more into nutrition and how to train. And when I say bodybuilding, it wasn't the competing part of it. Like I was just kind of like lifting weights and,
you just wanted to look good.
Diet. Yeah, I just pretty much wanted to look good. You know what I mean? What really got me into bodybuilding is when I got out of the military and I was trying to become a personal trainer. And I thought maybe if I did a competition, it'd put me over the average personal trainer. And that's when I actually started the competing aspect of bodybuilder.
So correct me if I'm wrong. It kind of
Mm-hmm.
sounds like, all right, it kind of sounds like you already had an athletic profile, right? You already lifted weights, probably already, I'm assuming in the military, I lifted weights in the military, but I'm assuming you probably already, had some size on you, look good.
Mm-hmm.
You just said, I just want to challenge myself. And then boom.
Yeah, I had no intentions. I had no intentions on becoming a pro. I had no intentions of being the best. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. My first prep, I cheated. If you look on my Instagram further down there, you can see that I was getting ready for a show, and I posted a pizza. Posted a picture with a large pizza in my hand, and I ate that whole pizza that night. You know what I'm saying? And this was probably 2 weeks out from the show. The week of the show, I ate all kinds of shit because I just couldn't handle the way that I was feeling. You know what I'm saying?
So you were just look. Don't you saying this on the interview? I'm sure guys who watch this like they're sick. Like, how does this guy get away with it? Is it genetics?
Well, I wouldn't say that. Like I said, I had many inspirations and motivations that led me to who I am now. My first time ever picking up weight, I remember when I was in the 4th grade, and I was a very skinny guy. So people used to make fun of me for how small I was. That's what started me into lifting weights. Most people, they cope with these feelings by eating more and getting heavier, or, some people go as far as, inflicting damage on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My way of coping with those feelings is getting better and being bigger. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that's what sparked me, because, it's one thing to go lift weights, but it's another thing to have that mentality of what it feels like to become better in doing something. So I already had that within the years. By the time I got to California, I mean, I was decent. I was probably like 175. I wasn't nothing crazy. I was still skinny. You could tell I had a little muscle on me, but like, I took it to the extreme of dieting, and I've been doing this for like almost 11 years now. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So to say genetics, I mean, who genetically gifted? I mean, I think I've accomplished a lot in a genetic way. Everybody has their own genetic gift, and that's what makes us all different. But it was a lot of work. You know what I mean? Right. It's a lot of work.
So obviously you just wanted to challenge yourself, and you even just said, you said, man, I cheated, I ate all kind of stuff. You put in the work though, and you go pro your first year. Were you surprised? Was it a culture shock? Like, oh fuck? Was it kind of like a, oh fuck, what did I get myself into type of deal?
So this is what happened. I do my first show, right? And like I said, I cheated and I won, right? So I told myself, I was like, wait a minute.
If I'm bullshitting,
let me take this seriously, right? So I did another show and I took it serious and I won again. So at this point, I was like, okay, I did 2 shows, right? People know who I am. I'm continue to personal train and pursue that. But then my coach was like, hey, you want to try to go pro? And I was like, pro? What do you mean go pro? And he was like, do you want to be a professional? And I was like a pro? Like, I was confused. Like, what do you mean go pro? You know what I mean? So then he was like, yeah, a professional bodybuilder. And I was like, well, shit, I always wanted to be a professional something, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, why not? So I was like, how does it work? So he kind of like broke it down, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, you know what I'm saying, let's do it. So then I was like locked in, you know what I mean? It was nothing holding me back, because I was in my head, the word professional was like saying doctor to me, you know what I mean?
Of course.
So I go to the stage and I kill that shit. Like, I was like second place to Kyron Hold'em. And we was up there battling it, it was pretty close. We was neck to neck up there, you know what I mean? So, and I had been watching Kyron on the Instagram for a minute, so I wasn't, it blew me when I was like standing next to him, right? So when I turned pro, in my head, I was like, this shit seems too easy. Like, where's the challenge in this? You know what I mean? So
crazy.
So, but I say this, like, I didn't realize I started competing that March of that year, but there was like 6 years before then that I was still dieting and training hard. You know what I mean? Most people try to get into bodybuilding their
With no
first year,
background?
never trained before, no background,
Right.
and they
Okay.
say they want to go pro.
Okay.
You know what I
That makes
mean?
sense.
Nobody realized that I actually took 6 years of dieting year round. No, I ain't gonna say no cheating, but I spent the majority of these years training hard, eating what I'm supposed to. And then even before then, I had played sports. I did all of these other things. You know what I'm saying? So when people see that I've accomplished that I actually made it to the Olympia stage and Arnold Classic within 8 months of competing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my first 8 months, I was already qualified to be in the Olympia when I was competing. You know what I mean? But I had already accomplished what I needed to become pro. And I feel like that's where, all
Go on and say it. I know you got some haters out there.
Well, I won't say haters. I just see like the game, it's actually kind of easy to become pro. It's all about what you do when you turn pro.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's too many people seeing people become successful without understanding what they did in the past.
Put into it. That's fact.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't just walk up on stage one day swole. That didn't just happen. You know what I mean?
So you already, and I think we can apply this to anything, whether it's business, any type of sport. Mm-hmm. You already had disciplines in place that helped you make the jump sooner.
Exactly. I mean,
right.
I was even 10 years in the military. You know what I mean?
That's enough said, yeah. On that
one. That alone, gives you that physical mentality and discipline you need to be better in something,
So then let me ask you this. So obviously, once you get to the competition and you're on stage with some of the best in the world,
mm-hmm.
For you, obviously you're like, okay, I want to start taking this more seriously. But you had already prepped and you had already done all these things. Was there really a huge separation for you to get even better? So basically, when you seen those guys, did you say, okay, well, I need to change this so I can truly make it to the next level?
Yeah. Well, I think that's where I think a lot of people don't realize that they can always get better. I thought I was training hard. Like I thought I was going hard. My coach gave me a plan and I thought I was executing it fully. And till one day I actually trained with him, and there's videos on YouTube that you can see of me when I was training with him. There's a level of intensity that takes you further than you can, what I like to say is humanly impossible. You know what I mean? And I say that because in order to train as hard and diet as hard as you need to, it takes you away from what the human body needs. It's a lot of stress on the body. Mm-hmm. It's good stress and it's bad stress. You know what I'm saying? But mm-hmm. these things can either make you or break you. You know what I mean? And so I found out that I had to work very hard, and bodybuilding, the competing part of it, was challenging. And that's what kept me into it. That's what makes me love what I do as bodybuilder.
It's the challenge.
It's the challenge. It is hard.
Okay, so, and we'll get a little bit back to your career. So you train too. Mm-hmm. So obviously you compete, and you got a personal trainer. You got a personal trainer and prep company, Undeniable Physique.
Right.
Right. Okay. So this is what I want to know. All right, and I'm sure the viewers want to know too. All right. So let's go through your process. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you me. Right. Mm-hmm. Let's say you take me on as a client. I know I'm a little easier. I'm about 2 or 3 weeks out from prep and everything. Right. but let's say you take me, never competed ever. Mm-hmm. What's the process? How do you start me out? I say, I want to compete, Feddy Moe. What's the process?
All right. So basically what I usually have people to do is I have them to fill out this intake form. This mm-hmm. intake form going to ask you a bunch of questions. Going to ask you some basic information, your height, weight, how old you are, where you from, Instagram, all these things, right? Mm-hmm. Then it's going to ask you about your lifestyle pretty much. So it's going to ask you, what are your macros? What do you eat as foods? What are your allergies? And then from there, it starts to ask you like medical things, right? So mm-hmm. all of this information, right, I look at. And I ask myself, can I coach this person? Is this person healthy enough for me to coach them? Does this person need to seek a doctor before they ever see me? Right. I look at all this information and make a determination if I can take this person on as a client or take you on as a client. And then from there, right, if more information is needed, then I'll contact the person and be like, hey, like I see you have knee pain when you walking upstairs. Cause I may have you doing Stairmaster. Right. So I may need to know where this pain come from, how we can alleviate that, how we can deal with that pain before we ever get to the point of hopping on the Stairmaster or riding on a bike. Right. So I take all this information, and this information allows me to create a custom plan to whoever that is based off of their needs, whatever foods they like, what they're allergic to, and what their body need in order for me to make them successful in whatever amount of weeks they need to be in.
So everybody that you train has their own personalized program. No one program is the same.
Yep. Everybody has their personalized program. Everybody speaks to me. There's no automated messenger thing, everything I do. I have a couple other people that do work for me, but they do the same exact thing. They do their own little business. They just under my name.
So have you ever had to tell some people like, might not be, you had to tell some people that?
I've told people, I don't work outside of my scope of practice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm science based. I believe in certain things. So it's just like, if you come to me and let's say you're a vegetarian, you only eat plants.
You like,
that's not my thing. I'm not going to sit here and try to, I could Google, right, and try to figure some things out for them, but that's not me. I don't Google. I have my own books that I read and I study. So for me to try to sit here and give somebody a diet based off of something I don't truly believe in or I'll deal with, I have people I refer them out to. I've also coached people that I had to let go that wasn't coachable. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm loyal to what I do for people. And if you can't follow a plan, I can't coach you.
So you're a strict coach. Like, you don't fuck around.
I'm strict. That's why my people look the way they do. You know what I mean?
Okay. So, all right. So what category would I compete in? Right. With my body type, I'm about 220, 5'8", 220. What category and how would I prepare for that?
So the way I look at it is I like for people to be happy with what they want to do, what they want to look like. I feel like the human body is very, very unique and it's a dope machine. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, you can do whatever you want with it. A lot of things may take time. Your time could have expired. Who knows? But I'll give people the reality. Like, if you want to be an open bodybuilder, right, and you need to be 300 pounds of muscle, but you want to compete soon, I'd say, hey, let's do men's physique first, or let's take a year. It depends on where their headspace is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're just trying to hop on stage right now and kind of get out there and compete and win, and let's do men's physique. Because I'm gonna tell you now, if you hop into bodybuilding, you might get smoked. You know what I mean? Let's compete where you can actually do some things. You know what I'm saying?
Let's crawl before we can walk.
Right. So then, in a time of you competing in men's physique, but you want to do open bodybuilding, we'll still keep working towards open bodybuilding. You know what I mean? Not to say I coach open body, but that's just an example. You know what I'm saying?
So I'll ask you another question, and this is something that I've always wondered about. I've talked to some people that competed, and one thing that I just realized, like, because obviously you have the prep process, you're getting them ready for the competition, but there's a after the competition, like recovery. How important is that?
That's very, very, very important. The body is going through a lot of changes, and a lot of these changes essentially take you out of that health state, which is why we don't want to stay in this state, this area for too long. So what you want to do is allow the body to reach homeostasis. You need balance in water. You need a balance in nutrients. The body needs to achieve balance in body composition. You get shredded. People get shredded, 2, 3, 4, 5%, right? But it doesn't matter what you eat after. You could go straight into eating straight plants. if your body wants to maintain 12%, that's what it's going to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like getting your body back to homeostasis, eating the right things, doing the amount of cardio that you need to do is very, very important, because if you just go back into, let's say you just come out of prep and you just start slamming pizzas and burgers, you know, your body's not used to all of that salt. You know, you essentially took yourself from a maybe unhealthy state to a more healthier state, but in an unhealthy way, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. So go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. So do you get sick, or would you go ahead? Yeah.
Yeah, you could end up getting sick. Too much sugars can end up making you sick. Too much sodium could end up giving you some high blood pressure. I mean, there's a lot that can that can go on with the body. Water retention. There's an imbalance in pressure within the heart, so that it won't allow water to sit the way it does. There's a lot that goes on with the body, and everybody is going to respond differently. But that's why it's important when people hire somebody, they hire somebody that knows what they're doing and understands the human body. Because if you're just going in and you're just crushing and killing clients because it's something you believe and not what you know based off of science and knowledge, then you could just really mess somebody up, post show. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm sure you see a lot of that in this industry.
I do. Unfortunately, I do.
Unfortunately, I do. So I seen one. I was going to this gym up in PB, and I seen one girl. She competed, looked very good, and she did her competition. And mind you, I don't know anything about bodybuilding, but like a month later, she gained like 40 pounds, and I'm like, is that normal? In my head, I'm like, does that make sense? She went from competing to being chunky. I didn't know if that was normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. I think a lot of people go into bodybuilding without body composition is very important. If your body, let me tell you, you can do, we all know how to lose weight, right? You restrict food, you do a ton of cardio, your body's going to lose weight. Whether it's good weight or bad weight, your weight is going to come down, right? I think where a lot of people mess up is they don't go in to bodybuilding with a high BMR and a very thermogenic system. And what I mean by that is, your body needs to already be lean before you ever compete. Wow. That means your body is able to withstand a low body fat percentage and get even lower through energy output. Because there's a difference between energy output and there's a difference between being very thermogenic. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people who isn't. They could have, who knows, thyroid dysfunctions. They could have not a lot of muscle. Their GI tract probably not functioning the way it should. And that's very important to have a high function GI tract, because that's what's metabolizing food. So I think the reason people gain a lot of weight, especially females, is because they go straight into bodybuilding without putting in work first. And you need muscle. You need it.
Kids, pay attention to health class. I'm learning the hard way, but no, it's all making sense. So, all right. So then let's shift back to your career. All right. So obviously you're doing a lot of stuff on the training side, but you still have goals and aspirations, and you're still young, 33 years old. What's the next step for Feddy Moe competition wise, and what are you preparing for right now?
Man, my next step is to get back onto that Olympia stage and be top 5. I'm not trying to, I'm going to say top 3. I ain't trying to be, I want to say number 1, but damn, to be the number 1 in the world, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy. So I haven't even cracked the top 10 yet. And I'm putting myself to say top 3. Right now, I'm focusing on a lot of things financially. There's a lot of things that I'm trying to do within my, when you're trying to, build a business, it could cost you. You know what I'm saying? It could cost you some money. And I think it's important that I understand what's more important. I love bodybuilding. I do it with a passion, but what's going to take me the long ways is my business and what I do for a living. You know what I'm saying? As far as like what training and stuff. So I'm trying to focus more on that. I wanted to compete this year, but like I said, I'm working on some things, but my goal is hopefully sometime next year I can get back on stage to get into the Olympia.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, and that makes sense, because I think, one of the craziest things for me to learn was that a lot of bodybuilders who are well known, everybody doesn't always have a retirement plan in place, right? They don't always have money
Right.
laid out and stashed away. So it's good that you're, putting some irons in the fire and planting some seeds, something that's gonna last long for you. So
Hmm.
okay, so let me ask you this. Obviously, you talk about top 5, number 1 in the world. Outside of just more focus, what do you feel like you're gonna have to do body wise to compete with those guys?
I think honestly, to build the balance that I need in my physique is the more thickness in my back. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like I don't think I need to work on too much.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not me being biased. I think
Right.
I have a pretty bubbly look already. So to say I need to get bigger, that'd be invalid. You know what I'm saying? I think I just need to put certain pieces in a place, and that's what makes bodybuilding sport. I don't need to go to the gym and do lat pull downs if I don't need to do lat pull downs. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Mm-hmm.
need to do rows if I don't need to do them. If I need to do isolation movement straight from the shoulder just to build thickness in my back, and my workout is only 30 minutes because that's when I achieve hypertrophy, then it's all I need to do. So that's what makes bodybuilding dope. But I think ultimately that I just need to build a little thickness in my back. That's it.
So when you go to the gym now, it's just intentional lifting. Like I'm doing this because I know it's gonna work this. Like you're not
Yes,
just going there and
exactly.
just you're doing random stuff. Yeah.
Right. That's why it's hard for me to work out with people, because if I'm working out with somebody, then it's just going to be a social thing, because I need to train what I need to train, and most people don't need to train what I need to train. You know.
It makes sense. So okay, so how can the fans reach and support you? Business ventures, obviously you say you're working on some things, but how can the fans reach and how can they support you?
Well, I do a lot of live streaming. I stream video games. I mean, you can tell I have this. You can't really see it, but I have a mic.
It's a
This is
command
my
center.
piece. You know what I'm saying? This is my PC. I have a whole streaming setup, right? I stream games. I even cook on stream. I do workouts on stream. I train my clients on stream. I do everything streaming now, right? So if people really, really, really wanted to reach me, they'll be on Twitch,
Okay.
twitch.com, and looking up Feddy Moe Does It. That's DUZIT, does it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also on Instagram, Feddy Moe, and that's pretty much the only two that I really, really use. So if anybody wanted to support me, that's where they'll be at.
What games you Twitch? I gotta ask.
I play some of everything. I play Apex, I played COD, Fortnite,
Fortnite.
Multiverse, Blood Hunt. I mean, I play survival
Mm-hmm.
games like Grounded. Depending on how long I got in the day, I'd play a lot of things within that day. But for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, I'm just kind of like playing Apex.
Yeah, my buddies are trying to get me on that years past. I just never jumped into it, but who knows? There's still time. So,
Hmm.
so I'm gonna ask you. I have a bonus question. All right, I'm gonna ask
Hmm.
you a very controversial question. So there are some people that refute, that bodybuilders are considered athletes, right? Because they feel like you're not running, jumping around, you're not focusing on agility and speed and things of that nature, right? You, as a actual multi-sport athlete, a guy that's actually played different things growing up, and now you're a bodybuilder, how would you respond to that claim? What would you tell people? Like, yeah, they kind of are athletes. What would you say?
So I can tell you this, everything I've ever done, I put my all into it. So
Mm-hmm.
I understand the intensity behind it, what the body goes through, what the brain feels, because I think, when we really think about what sports is nowadays, I want people to really understand what goes on in the brain, right? And bodybuilding itself is the hardest sport. If you even break it down to science, it's going to be the hardest sport that anybody can ever do. And the reason why is because you cannot function without the adequate amount of nutrients. Every other sport in this world is able to eat, whenever, whatever they want.
That's the truth.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the truth. Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many times you go to that basketball court and you run those drills up and down that court and you get tired, your heartbeat, my heart, when I hop on cardio, my heart beat just like they do. Probably way more intense because I have to focus on weight loss. They have to focus on endurance. This means they have to make sure their body has an adequate amount of oxygen. I have to tax oxygen in order for my body to switch over to another energy source so I could lose weight. You know what I'm saying? Other sports people don't do that. I have to restrict food. This takes your body, your brain to a place that it hasn't been. No other sports people do that. Bodybuilding, scientifically, will be the hardest sport to do. And I think mentally, that's what makes bodybuilding a sport.
So do you so you would say it's not only are you, preparing your body, working out and doing things, but you're doing it at a deficit. That's what makes it so difficult.
Exactly. I tell everybody, you would never, ever know what a bodybuilder go through unless you do it. You would never know what certain bodybuilders go through unless you ever achieve that level of physique, because not everybody needs to be 3% body fat. You know what I'm saying? Some categories get away with being 8% body fat. Mm-hmm. Even so, people that's 8% would never know what it feels like to be 3% body fat. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's even levels to it when you get into bodybuilding, and it's all based off of science. You just can't compare basketball, football, tennis to what people are going through in bodybuilding. It's not even comparable.
And that makes sense when you say that, because especially when you were talking about like getting nutrients and making sure your diet is right. I was listening. I saw an interview with DK Metcalf. I'm sure you've seen him before, who has a crazy body, plays for the Seattle Seahawks, wide receiver. And the guy said that he really only eats like one meal a day. He eats candy and shit all day. And his body's crazy. But in my head, I'm like, okay, well, maybe that works in football, but you can't do anything. Like, you can't mess around with your diet in bodybuilding. Am I right?
No, you can't. You ain't gonna, it ain't you. Look, I like I said, I cheated that one show, but that's because I had already had 10 years of experience versus some guys who only had like some months.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I should win that, no matter if I'm cheating or not, right? But when you get to the league, the big league, everything needs to be on point. Ain't nobody cheating. You know what I'm saying? Everybody looks good. Everybody is genetically gifted. You know what I'm saying? You're going against the best in the world. So to say you're going to have some candy and not diet and only eat once a day, nah.
Good luck.
Good luck.
So last question. If somebody said, and this doesn't just have to be your program, let's say somebody just wanted to start bodybuilding, they wanted to train, they wanted to compete. If we're talking about budget wise, what do you think, what should a person that wants to walk into the sport, what should they be looking at? Like, is bodybuilding expensive, right? Or you just got your budget correctly?
I think bodybuilding should not be expensive because, to be honest, as a nutritional coach, it doesn't require a lot of effort. It does require a lot of knowledge. So pricing should be based off of what one knows. So with that being said, I think a good range between, and this is just me, you know what I'm saying? This is just, some people think they should do more. Some people should be less. It's all a perspective. I think it should be around $200 to $300. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I believe. And
is that per month?
I only say that because, per month. When it comes to like controlling someone's diet, and there's some people who have like a generated workout list. I don't do that. Everything I do is custom, so I'm not going to just sit here and give everybody the same workout thing, right? But some people have that comes with it. But I don't think it should be as expensive as some people make it seem, or some people hold their prices to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember I was going to train with this one guy, and he was telling me I had to pay him $100 an hour. And I was like, bro, I rode up in a Dodge Challenger. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm eating tuna and eggs every meal. Like, what you mean? You know what I'm saying? So I think for the most part, I think it should be based off of your knowledge, but a lot of people try to put too much other stuff into it to make their prices seem like that should be more than what it should be.
So, but it is, you would say, in the grand scheme of things, if you find the right program, it's pretty damn affordable for an entry level person.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people just don't realize they spend a lot of money on
bullshit
things that they don't need.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Trust me, I know.
They say they can't. they say they can't afford something, but it's like, well, you do know you ain't gonna be able to drink 4 times a week. You ain't gonna be able to eat pizza every day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, look, trust me, I get it. It's our habit, but that's good. So for anybody that's listening, you know, hey, if you want to get into it, it's not too expensive. You just got to budget correctly. And then I've always entertained, you know, the idea of one day, especially maybe for viewers, training or something like that. Who knows? You know, I'm gonna tell you a secret. All right, you can't tell anybody. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm 100% natty. I'm natural. It's crazy,
I believe
right?
that.
I'm telling you, man.
I believe.
Some people don't believe. I'm joking around. Nah, man. But nah, man. It's definitely a pleasure. Definitely a pleasure having you on, man. You know, I've definitely seen you around. And it's good to just get a chance to connect with you, pick your brain a little bit. Once again, you took me back to health class because you were using, once you pulled out homeostasis, I sat up in my chair like, oh shit, okay.
But, man, I got a lot that I can talk about, bro.
No, that's good. And I think it just shows that I love talking to people because I meet with a lot of different athletes from different sports on this podcast, but I love seeing that people are true students of the craft.
Right.
So that's the biggest compliment I can give you. So, you know, everybody, fans, make sure you guys tap in with them. Did you give your IG out for us? Your social media handles?
Feddy Moe.
Just Feddy Moe. Just nice and simple, right?
Just nice and simple.
So follow him on IG, YouTube, Twitch. You're gonna make me. I hop on Twitch in a minute. I was on Xbox Live last night, so let me go ahead and hop on Twitch and see what this guy is talking about. But check him out. And then I guess we will, well, first of all, make sure anybody that's in the area. Now, for your company, Undeniable Physique, do you just have clients in in the California area, or do you train abroad?
No, I train all over the country. I've had clients. I don't think I have any now, but I had clients that was overseas. Okay. Most people are here in California for sure, but I train people in other states as well.
Okay, so you know, make sure you tap in with my man. Doesn't matter where you are, even you can be in Timbuktu. He's gonna figure out the time difference and get on Zoom or something.
You could be in. You know, we gonna make it happen.
Most definitely. So yeah, man. Like I said, it was a blessing to have you, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, bro, for sure.
All right, man. Peace. So that was Feddy Moe. He came on and he talked to us. He taught us a lot. I know I learned a lot, and who knows? Like I said, you guys, I told him, but who knows? Maybe one day, one season, I might step in there and do something. We'll see what happens. But I hope you guys learned a lot. I definitely did. And I told you guys I'm gonna keep throwing different sports at you guys. We could revisit bodybuilding here at another time, but I want to continue to mix it up and give you guys some exciting things to talk about. So I'll talk to you guys soon, Sports Nation.